James, are you surprised that y'all never made a run at all? Made a run at all in this one?
We're just not good enough. Obviously, chemistry, talent-wise, just everything. And it was clear, like I said, these last few games, they just, from the beginning of the game, they were just aggressive. Veteran team, obviously, championship team, and one of the best teams that we have in this league.
What's up, fam? Welcome to KNT's Corner 3, our very first video. Very exciting. And this channel will be your one-stop shop for all NBA topics. Okay, so let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Kushal.
I'm Tim.
And welcome to the channel. So before we begin on what we're going to talk about today, I would just appreciate if everyone could like the video, subscribe to the channel, KNT's Corner 3, and share it out to your friends because we're going to be posting early, we're going to be posting often, and you're going to get all our NBA takes. Today is arguably the most interesting day of the season so far. And why is that?
Because if you're living under a rock, James Harden has been traded to the Brooklyn Nets. It's a 4-team deal. We're just going to break it down. We're going to give our thoughts on it and, talk about maybe winners and losers and just how it affects the whole league. Because like I said, there's a lot of teams involved. And obviously the Nets have gotten, in my opinion, much better than where they were yesterday. So Kush, you got any opinions on the deal, on the trades?
Oh, I got opinions. So before
sorry, and I'll flash it on screen so you guys can see it too right now.
And before I read the trade, let me just say I have been a Nets fan my whole life. So safe to say today's the literal best day of my life. The full trade. So the Nets, they obviously get the big star, the big name, James Harden, to pair alongside Kevin Durant and hopefully Kyrie Irving. Pacers, they get young and up and coming star Karis LeVert and a second rounder. The Cleveland Cavaliers get a personal favorite player of mine, Jared Allen and Taurean Prince. And the most interesting part of the trade, other than the Nets, is the Rockets, right? The Rockets have had James Harden since 2012. He's been their franchise player, and they traded him, and they got a lot back in return. They got Victor Oladipo, who is, had some great years with the Pacers. Not a bad player. Dante Exum, Rodions Kurucs, and 3 first-round picks from the Nets in the years 2022, 2024, and 2026, a Milwaukee first-round pick in 2022, and then 4 Brooklyn Nets first-round pick swaps in 2021, 23, 25, and 27. Quite a package. And all of the picks that were sent over to the Rockets are all unprotected. There are no restrictions on any of those picks, Tim.
Big day in the NBA. So who do you want to go into first? Let's talk about the Nets first? Is that good?
Oh, we got to talk about the Nets first. I think they get the most interesting name here.
Personally, in my opinion, I think the Nets now have probably the best starting lineup in probably the NBA, I would say. I don't know a team that's more solid offensively. Where I see issue is definitely on the defensive end. Kyrie, not terrible, but he's not a big body. He can't compete with some of the bigger guards. Harris, he's not terrible either, but he's no Bradley Beal on defense. We could say that. I think the rest of the team is okay defensively. I don't know about DeAndre. Is he a good defender in your opinion? Not really.
He used to be. I think he lost a step. He was a starter in the beginning of the year, and he got replaced by Jared Allen. Who was just outplaying him.
I think the Nets is definitely going to go in a more D'Antoni direction of just trying to outscore, your opponents as opposed to stopping them. But in this case, they definitely have the firepower to outscore pretty much anyone in the league. The only concern, again, with the Houston Rockets of 17-18 season, can they hit their shots? If this team misses Irving, Harden, Harden, I wouldn't say a choker in the playoffs, but he has his moments where he doesn't deliver in the playoffs. If these guys can't really deliver, is KD going to be enough to hold off everyone? Because I have enough faith in KD that he's not going to choke in the playoff season. But that's my initial thoughts on this trade. I think the Nets starting lineup looks nice. I don't know much about their bench anymore. Their pieces, I don't know. I don't know. But the starting lineup, that's something fierce.
Yeah, I mean, let me get into my takes. I think the Nets, if everything goes right, big if, are the best team in the East. I think it's clear. I think they have the most talent. I mean, in the NBA, I'll still give the benefit of the doubt to the Lakers, and we'll talk about that. But I just think having Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant in the playoffs, I don't see a team beating the Nets in the East in a 7-game series. Yeah, we'll see when we get to the Lakers, because they look strong. They have the star power. They have the depth. We'll get to them, but the Nets, they are going to be the best offensive team. They have had problems this season early on with defense, but they've been spectacular offensively. I am hoping that, if Kyrie comes back, and that's a huge if from his personal time off, sure. and James Harden fully buys in, gets back into great playing shape, and Kevin Durant stays as locked in as he is, I just think that this team can outscore everyone, and none of them are bad defenders when they try. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant on the Warriors was elite. Kyrie Irving, while not an elite defender like you said, can still be a competent defender, gets steals, and really buys in when he's truly giving effort.
I agree with that.
Same thing with James Harden. We've all seen the YouTube clips of him just absolutely not trying, but when he tries, dude is a great post defender for a shooting guard, and it's all about if he can buy in. And with the Nets, they gave up a lot of their depth in this trade. Giving up Caris LeVert, giving up a Jared Allen. Their depth is definitely compromised. So right now they have Bruce Brown on the bench. They have Landry Shamet. They have Nick Claxton, who's supposedly not their backup center now. So we'll see. They have 3 open roster spots. So I am thinking that Sean Marks, the GM, will try to get interesting and get some veterans who are looking to get a ring onto the roster, and we need some defenders now. We have enough shooting. We have enough shooting with Joe Harris and Kyrie and KD and Harden. It's all about defenders. Sean Marks needs to get tough, gritty defenders to fill out the bench, and I think coming to the finals in the end of this year, I think we are going to see the Nets come out of the East.
I also want to add on, not only did they lose their bench, they lost their future, a good amount of their future in those picks, right? So they're really risking a lot on this big 3. And, they tried it before. You can never really tell how these things are going to go. Obviously, this time it looks a lot more optimistic than the KG, Pierce, and Allen trade. But again, you never know. Maybe someone's unhappy if they don't win this year. Maybe someone walks for nothing. You never really know. But I think in this day and age, against a lot of these teams out west, you have to go all in. If you can pull off a trade like this, you got to do it. You can't have an opportunity at arguably a top 3, top 5 player in the league, and Harden, maybe not top 3, maybe top 5, and be like, nah, I'm gonna keep these guys. You can't do that. You just gotta risk it.
I was gonna say, you gotta go for it. I mean, you see how good the Lakers look so far this year.
Yeah. Speaking of the pieces they lost, I know you're a big Nets fan. I know Nets fans are real sad about the loss of Jarrett Allen in particular. Personally, I like LeVert too, but these are some heavy losses in their rotational pieces. And I really liked Allen. I thought he was up and coming. I don't know who's gonna play with on the Cavs. It seems kind of sad to be Jared Allen today. From going to play with Irving to, on the Cavs, that's just sad.
So what I'm interested in is, I think the Cavs have Andre Drummond right now, who's had a fantastic start to the season, but is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. So I think maybe they don't want to pay Drummond all the money that he's going to get. So they want to fill his spot with a young and up and comer. And I agree. Jared Allen's 22 years old. He's fantastic. He's getting better. The jump he's had between last year and this year is remarkable. He's 100 times the player that he was. And I do like the Cavs guards. They have Darius Garland. They have Colin Sexton. They're young. So they don't play great defense yet, but I do like the direction they're going, and I think this is a smart move for them, because honestly, they didn't even give up that much. So to get Jared Allen, I think is a good get for them. I also want to talk about the Pacers. So the Cavs part of it is interesting, but I want to shift to the Pacers. Yeah, so Caris LeVert is another up and coming great player. The issue with Caris has always been health. He has missed a ton of games to start his career, but when he's playing, he's really special. I think he's going to be great with the Pacers. The Pacers obviously gave up Oladipo and are going to fill that spot with Caris, and the Pacers have young talent. I mean, Sabonis is a stud, and he's arguably a most improved player candidate. So adding Karis LeVert to that team, I think, is a smart move for the Pacers. I'm rooting for him, and I'm rooting for the Pacers. They're going to be my second favorite team now, and I think they did a good job getting him today.
Right. I think it's a good stepping stone, like you said. Obviously, no championship aspirations within a few years unless something major happens, but there's just too many top heavy teams right now for a team like the Pacers. But they're young, like you said. They got Sabonis. They got pretty good coaching, I think. They made the playoffs with not a whole lot of talent the past couple of years, even though it is, the East, but still it's a good trajectory. I think LeVert's going to develop pretty well, being pretty ball dominant on a team like the Pacers. I don't think he's going to have a lot of opposition on his own team to carry the ball around.
Yeah, I think he'll have the ball more than he did on the Nets. First get Oladipo from the Pacers, and I am a big fan of Oladipo. Obviously, in 2017, he had a breakout year. He was awesome, and then he's been dealing with injuries. I do think he's a good player to get back. He is an unrestricted free agent, I believe, after this season. So while he might be a good piece, we don't know if he's going to stay with the team.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm a big fan of Oladipo too. I love his game. I love his speed. I really like players who push the pace, finish at the rim. They play good basketball. I think it's going to be interesting because the Rockets have firepower still, even though they lost Westbrook and Harden this season. They have Boogie, John Wall, and now Oladipo. Like that's a few years back, that would have been a nasty dirty three, but or nasty big three. But right now, it's still a decent three. I wouldn't say it's a big three. If they can surround themselves with more shooters, they still got Gordon, they still got Tucker. Although I do hear Tucker is on the trade market, so we should watch out for that. But they didn't lose anyone but Harden, right?
Yeah, that Harden was the only player they traded.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm not sure the direction the Rockets are going, because are they trying to be a three-point shooting team? Are they just trying to be like a score more than you team, or are they trying to build defensively now? I really don't know. It's kind of like a mix of everything right now. Yeah,
you're also forgetting one important player here, Christian Wood. He's been remarkable to start the season. They got him from Detroit, and I'm sure NBA fans, you all know about Christian Wood, but they got him from Detroit, and he's shown great numbers and flashes. Like, he's only played a couple of games each season, but he's been great in the minutes that he played, but nobody gave him a chance. Mm-hmm. And this year, he's been their best player, even more than Harden. And I don't know if it's Harden's been out of shape or whatnot. Christian Wood has been their best player. And this starting lineup, Tim, John Wall, Oladipo, Gordon, Wood, and Cousins, that's a playoff. That could be a playoff team in the West.
I can see them still making the playoffs, yeah.
Not sleeping on them. Don't sleep on the Rockets.
Don't sleep on the Rockets.
As you already said earlier, the Nets got to take a chance, so I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with the trade too. I think it's just interesting. It wasn't fun watching Harden walk around after the half-point line, scoring 17 points a game. Like, that's not Harden. And he looks like 15 pounds overweight. Like, that's not him. Just move him. I don't know. Just get him to play the game again.
He needs to buy back in, and I think he will with the Nets, and he'll be back to James Harden.
I'll be honest, I was surprised a little bit that it wasn't to the Sixers. I know Nets fans are just dying for this, but I'm not even a Sixers fan, but I just thought Ben Simmons and someone for Harden just made sense. Pairing him with Embiid, another dominant duo in the league, just would have been so much parity in the league. It would have been awesome, but I'm okay with this too.
Dude, I agree. I started seeing the reports before the Nets trade was announced, and I was convinced he was going to the Sixers.
Yeah.
Harden for Simmons makes sense. And Harden and Embiid pick and roll makes sense. And throwing Simmons onto the Rockets, that also makes sense. So I'm happy he didn't go to the Sixers, but
it would have been two lob cities, kind of, because Harden to Embiid and then Simmons to Cousins or something. That would have been anybody to Simmons too on the Rockets. That would have been lob city. Nets. I would say got better, but I think we can only answer that in 3 to 5 years and see what happens after that.
Listen, 2021 NBA championship in Brooklyn. I'll invite everyone to the parade. I am trying not to be biased, but it's too late. I am biased. I do see them easily winning, or not easily. I do see them winning the East. If they're wrong, just take a screenshot of my face right now and feel free to post it on Twitter or whatever. But feel free to at me. No, I really do think they're going to be a good team, and the favorites in the East, and I do see them winning the title. As long, this is all contingent on Kyrie buying in, James Harden buying in. But if they buy in, they're the best team in the NBA, and I think they'll
Right.
win the title this year.
So I agree, although okay, so my thinking is they're definitely the best team in the East. I think they're not going to care as much about the regular season, so they might end up a 2 seed, maybe even a 3 seed. I'm not going to be surprised if they end up the 1 seed. Like I said, I think they're the best team. I do think that they're going to be the number 1 team out of the East, so they're going to meet whoever comes out of the West in the finals. That's what I think, regardless of the seed. I don't know. I just feel like Kyrie, like currently, as you could tell, doesn't seem to care about the regular season that much. He's not playing, isn't going to play the rest of the week. And I mean, like, I don't know. I just feel like Harden, maybe he will, maybe he won't. There's also chemistry to work out. They might lose some easy games. You never know. So I think they're going to take the regular season as kind of just chill, figuring out the chemistry.
Yeah.
And then the first few playoff games, they're probably going to, ramp it up. And that's probably where they're going to test it out. Like, can we work together under pressure? And that's going to be the big chemistry experiment. But it's going to be awesome to see. Even as someone who's not a Nets fan right now, like, it's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, they're gonna be obviously the team that you hear the most about, like the Warriors when they had the dynasty going. You'll hear about the Nets, even whether they're doing well or whether they're failing. So should be a great season. Can't wait to see the Nets with Harden. But thank you everyone for watching our very first video on KNT's Corner 3. There will be more videos coming soon. And until next time, Tim, I'll allow you to say goodbye.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.
Peace.